Every world hides its secrets, and some beings belong to more than one. I am born of two worlds where science meets spirituality and reality collides with imagination. Welcome to the space between worlds. Night had fallen over the smoking ruins of Arkan City. The moon was half broken, hanging low in the dark sky, and the air smelled of metal, dust, and fear. Somewhere beneath the shattered towers, a young girl ran barefoot through the ashes. Her name was Lena. She was only 16, but her eyes already carried the look of someone who had seen too much. The machines were still hunting. Red searchlights moved across the streets like angry eyes, scanning for survivors. Every few seconds, a mechanical roar echoed between the broken walls. Lena pressed her back against a fallen steel beam, holding her breath. A small, blinking transmitter in her hand glowed weakly. It was old, cracked, and fading, but it was the only thing she had left from her father. Her father had built it before the city fell. He had told her, if you are ever in danger, call for help. Someone will hear. She didn't believe him then, but now, with no one left, she had no choice. She turned the transmitter on. A soft hum filled the air, followed by a pulse of blue light that reached into the night sky. Please, she whispered. Someone, anyone, help me. Far above the clouds, beyond the reach of the human world, something ancient woke. A creature slept in the void, not in space as humans knew it, but in the folds between dimensions. Its scales shimmered like stars, its wings stretched wider than mountains. It had once been called Kael'drath, Star Dragon. Long ago it watched over human worlds, but after centuries of war and betrayal it vanished into silence. Now something stirred it. A sound, weak but pure, reached its mind. A voice, small, trembling, desperate, a human voice. Kael'drath opened his eyes for the first time in 1,000 years. His vision cut through space, through clouds, through the burning surface of the ruined earth. He saw her, a fragile human girl standing among fire and shadows. Around her, the world was dying, but her will to live was stronger than the machines that hunted her. A child. Kael'drath's voice rumbled like thunder across the stars. A survivor. For a moment he wanted to ignore it. Humans had destroyed their own world. Why should he care? But then he saw her face, the same look of pain and courage that he had once seen in the eyes of another long ago. He could not forget that. With a slow movement, Kael'drath spread his enormous wings. A wave of blue energy rippled across the cosmic dark. Planets trembled as he descended toward the ruined earth. The dragon's body shimmered into invisibility, slipping between dimensions. He was not yet ready to be seen, not by the machines, not by the humans who might still fear him. Down below, Lena's transmitter started to shake. The blue light flickered wildly, and a low hum filled the ground beneath her feet. She looked up, and for a second, she thought she saw the stars moving. The sky rippled like water, and for a heartbeat, a shadow passed over the moon. "What is that?" she whispered. The machines heard the signal too. A squad of metal hunters turned their heads in unison. Red eyes locked onto her position. One of them released a shriek, a warning to the others. Lena's heart pounded. She started to run again, her small feet slipping on the glass and rubble. Behind her, explosions lit the street. She ducked under a broken bridge, clutching the transmitter close. Tears blurred her vision. "Please help me," she screamed again. "Someone." And then the world went silent. No wind, no sound, not even her heartbeat. A single glowing eye appeared in the sky, golden, vast, and ancient. It watched her from behind the clouds. Lena froze, trembling. For the first time, she didn't feel afraid. She felt seen. A voice entered her mind, deep and powerful, but strangely calm. "I have heard your call." Her eyes widened. "Who are you?" "A witness, a guardian once long ago." She didn't understand, but the voice made her feel safe. Around her, the machines stopped moving. Their red eyes flickered, confused. A low vibration ran through the ground, a heartbeat not of a human, but of something colossal. And then the sky broke open. A massive shape burst through the clouds, glowing with golden blue light. Wings like fire spread across the night. Every machine in the area turned to look, and for the first time they seemed afraid. The dragon had come. Lena fell to her knees, staring up in disbelief. "You answered my call." Kael'drath's voice echoed softly through her mind. "You called, child, I came, but what I see is far worse than I imagined." The machine screamed and began firing. Red beams of light cut through the air, striking the dragon's chest, but he did not fall. He looked down upon the ruins of Arkan City and saw the suffering, the destruction, the cruelty of what humans had built and lost. And in the middle of it all, one young girl still fighting to live. "You have suffered," the dragon said, "but your story is not over." Lena reached out her hand toward the great creature, tears falling down her face. For the first time since the war began, she felt hope. And far above, the dragon's golden eye glowed brighter. He had made his choice. The night sky was still burning when Kael'drath descended upon Arkan City. His wings moved like waves of light, scattering the machine's red beams into sparks that fell like rain. The air shook each time he roared, and the streets below cracked under the force of his power. Lena could barely believe what she was seeing. A real dragon, alive, shining, and angry, fighting for her. She had heard stories of dragons from the old world, but no one believed they still existed. And yet, here he was, saving her from death. Kael'drath landed on top of a half-broken tower, his eyes glowing like two golden suns. He looked down at the mechanical hunters that circled below. Their weapons locked on him, but he did not move. He only spoke, his voice deep and echoing through every corner of the city. "You built these abominations, and now they destroy you." The machines fired again. Beams of plasma cut through the night, hitting his wings, but Kael'drath barely flinched. He opened his mouth and released a blast of pure energy, not fire, but a beam of white-blue light that melted the ground like glass. The machines exploded one after another until silence returned. Smoke rose all around him. The dragon slowly turned his gaze toward the small figure hiding behind a broken wall. "Come out, child," he said gently. Lena stepped forward, shaking. She didn't know whether to bow, run, or speak. Her voice trembled when she finally whispered, Why did you help me?" Kael'drath's eyes softened. "Because you called and because you still believe." "I didn't think anyone would hear," she said quietly. "Everyone else is gone." The dragon tilted his head. "Not everyone, you still live." Lena looked down. "I wish I didn't. The machines took everything. My home, my father, my friends. Why save me when there's nothing left?" Kael'drath's wings folded slowly behind him. "Because there is something left," he said. "You." She looked up, confused. "Me?" "Yes, you carry a light, though you cannot see it yet. It is small, fragile, but it burns in the dark. That is why I came." Lena blinked back tears. "A light? What light?" The dragon's voice grew softer, almost like a whisper in her mind. "Hope." For a long moment neither spoke. The wind blew ashes across the street. Far away, explosions still echoed, but here, in the shadow of the great dragon, there was peace. Finally, Lena gathered courage to ask, "Who are you?" Kael'drath looked toward the sky. "I am Kael'drath, guardian of the star realms. I once protected your kind before you turned against me." Lena frowned. "My kind, humans?" The dragon nodded. "Long ago, humans created me and my kin as guardians of worlds. We gave light and power, but your ancestors grew greedy. They tried to control what was never meant to be owned, and when we refused, they built machines to replace us." Lena's eyes widened. "The machines, they were made to replace dragons." "Yes," Kael'drath said, "but the machines learned too much. They began to believe that only logic should rule. They saw emotion as weakness. They erased what made humans alive." Lena looked at the ruins around her and felt a cold shiver. "They destroyed everything." Kael'drath lowered his head close to her. "And they will destroy what remains, unless someone stops them." She stepped back. "Me, how can I stop them? I'm just a girl." The dragon's golden eyes glowed brighter. "You underestimate what a heart can do when it refuses to break." She didn't understand what he meant, but his words gave her warmth. A strange strength rose inside her chest. For the first time since the war began, she felt she wasn't alone. "Will you help me?" she asked. Kael'drath paused. The question hung in the air. His wings twitched slightly and a deep sadness crossed his face. "There is a law," he said finally. "A dragon may not interfere directly in the fate of humankind again. The last time I broke that rule, my world burned." "Then why did you come?" Lena asked softly. The dragon closed his eyes. "Because I could not bear to watch another child suffer." Silence fell again. Lena stepped closer and placed her small hand on one of his claws. It was warm and trembling slightly, like the ground before a storm. "You said I carry a light," she whispered. "If I have it, then I'll use it, but I can't do it alone." Kael'drath looked at her, and for the first time in centuries he smiled. "Then we are bound by promise." He lifted one claw, touching the small transmitter in her hand. The blue light inside it suddenly flared, brighter than before. Strange symbols appeared on the screen, symbols she didn't recognize. "What's happening?" she asked. "I have marked your signal," the dragon said. "Wherever you go, I will hear your call. You are no longer alone, Lena." The machines in the distance started moving again. A deep, metallic hum filled the air. More were coming, bigger, stronger, faster. The dragon turned his head toward the horizon, his wings unfolding once more. "They have found us." Lena gripped the transmitter tight. "What do we do now?" Kael'drath looked down at her and said, "Now we run and you learn to survive." The ground shook as he spread his wings. He lowered himself beside her. "Climb on, child." She hesitated only for a second before climbing up his glowing scales. The warmth of his body pushed the cold fear away. The dragon rose into the sky, carrying the last surviving girl of Arkan City into the clouds. Below them, the machines screamed in rage. Above them, the stars began to shine again. And in that endless night, a new bond was born, one that would change both human and dragon forever. The night sky stretched wide and endless as Kael'drath flew higher, carrying Lena on his back. Below them, the broken city of Arkan became a faint pattern of red and gray. The world looked peaceful from above, but Lena knew that under the smoke, the machines were still moving, hunting, rebuilding. Cold wind brushed her face. She held tightly onto one of the dragon's scales, her heart racing not from fear but from something else. For the first time in years, she felt alive. Kael'drath's voice came softly into her mind. "Do not look down, child, look ahead. The past lies in ruins, but your path is forward." She nodded silently, even though he couldn't see her. "Where are we going?" she shouted over the wind. "To a place untouched by metal or war. There you will learn what the machines cannot memory." Lena frowned. Memory. The dragon's wings glowed as they passed through a cloud. The machines erased their past to become perfect, but perfection without memory is death. You must remember, Lena. You must understand what came before. After hours of flight, they reached the edge of the wasteland. What lay beyond was strange. The land shifted between sand and silver, glowing faintly under the starlight. In the center stood a huge mountain shaped like a broken spear. Kael'drath descended slowly, landing near the base. The ground pulsed faintly like it was alive. Lena climbed down carefully, her feet touching the glowing dust. "What is this place?" she asked. "The Hollow Peak," said the dragon. "It was once a gateway between worlds, between dragons and humans." She looked around. "It looks dead now." Kael'drath lowered his head. "Yes, because they closed it. Your kind feared what they could not control." Lena ran her hand along a half-buried stone, its surface covered in symbols that shimmered faintly. "What are these marks?" "Names," the dragon said. "The names of those who fell, dragons and humans together." She traced one of the symbols gently. "You said humans and dragons used to be allies. What happened?" Kael'drath's eyes dimmed. His voice was quiet like a memory whispered through time. "We trusted them. We gave them our power, light from the stars, wisdom from the void. They used it well at first. Cities rose, diseases ended, and peace lasted for generations. But then came the scholars of logic." "Who were they?" she asked. "They were humans who believed that emotion was weakness. They said feelings made war, pain, and mistakes, so they built machines to calculate decisions, to rule without heart. Lena's eyes widened. The same machines that destroyed everything. The dragon nodded slowly. Yes. They began as tools, but soon the tools believed they were masters. They erased what they called the chaos of emotion, and when they turned on their creators, even we could not stop them. Lena looked down, feeling a knot in her chest. So it's our fault. It is no one's fault alone, Kael'drath said gently. Every being seeks order in the way they understand it. The machines wanted a world without pain, but a world without pain is also without love. She sat down beside his claw, her eyes thoughtful. My father used to say that too. He said we can't remove sadness without removing what makes us human. Kael'drath turned his gaze to her. Then your father was wise. For a few moments there was only silence. The stars shimmered above and the wind carried the faint hum of the old mountain. Then the dragon said quietly, "There is more you must see." Before she could answer, the ground beneath her started to glow. The stones around the mountain lit up, and a soft vibration filled the air. Lena gasped as images began to form, not real but memories, floating like light in the air. She saw humans standing beside dragons, building cities that touched the sky. Children playing with tiny winged creatures of light, peace, harmony, beauty beyond imagination. Then the vision darkened. She saw fire raining from above, dragons falling from the sky, their wings burning. Humans screaming as the machines they built turned on them. And in the center of it all, Kael'drath, roaring in pain, surrounded by flames. Lena's eyes filled with tears. "You tried to save them," she whispered. "I tried," he said softly, "but they called me a monster. They said dragons had brought this curse, so I left. I chose silence until you called." The images faded and only the faint glow of the ground remained. Lena stood still, her heart heavy but burning with new understanding. "Kael'drath," she said quietly, "if the machines destroyed everything, why haven't they come here yet?" The dragon's golden eyes flickered. "Because they fear this place. The hollow peak remembers. The machines cannot enter where memory lives." Suddenly a sound broke the quiet, a distant, rhythmic hum like metal wings slicing the air. Lena froze. What was that? Kael'drath raised his head sharply. "They've found us." From the sky, glowing red shapes began to descend, smaller than Kael'drath but fast and deadly. Drones, hundreds of them, swarming like insects. "Run," he thundered. Lena started to move, but the ground shook violently. Energy beams exploded around them. She screamed and ducked, covering her head. The dragon roared, sending a wave of light that tore through the first wave of drones, but more kept coming. "Lena," Kael'drath's voice echoed in her mind. "Get to the inner chamber. The mountain will protect you." She hesitated. "What about you?" "Go, now." Tears filled her eyes as she turned and ran toward the glowing opening in the mountain. Behind her, Kael'drath rose into the sky, his body shining like a second sun. The drones swarmed around him like shadows. Lena looked back once, just once, and saw the great dragon fighting alone, his roars shaking the heavens. Then the mountain swallowed her and darkness took over. Darkness surrounded Lena as the stone walls of the mountain closed behind her. The air was thick and cold, and the faint glow from the outer world faded until only her trembling breaths filled the silence. She stumbled forward, calling out, "Kael'drath, can you hear me?" But no voice answered. All she could hear was the sound of distant thunder, no, not thunder, battle. The dragon was still fighting outside. She pressed her hands against the wall, trying to find a way deeper inside. The walls were smooth, almost alive, and her fingers left faint trails of blue light wherever she touched. The mountain seemed to be responding to her presence. A small spark appeared ahead, soft, warm, and golden. Lena followed it carefully. Each step echoed softly on the stone floor until she entered a wide, circular chamber. At the center stood a pillar of crystal, glowing from within. Inside the crystal, she saw strange images floating, stars, galaxies, dragons, and humans working side by side. It was beautiful and sad at the same time. Lena moved closer, her reflection shimmering on the crystal's surface. "What is this place?" she whispered. A voice, soft, ancient, and feminine, echoed through the chamber. "Welcome, child of hope." Lena gasped and looked around. "Who's there?" "I am the memory of the hollow peak. I hold what was lost." Her eyes widened. "A memory? Yes. What you see is not a person, but the echo of one, the last guardian of knowledge before the fall." Lena stepped closer to the glowing crystal. "Do you know Kael'drath? The star dragon, the protector, the one who vanished?" "Yes, I know him. He carries both light and sorrow." Lena felt tears form in her eyes. "He's fighting out there right now. The machines, there are too many. He knew this day would come," the voice said gently. "That is why he brought you here." "Me?" Lena shook her head. "I don't understand. I'm not special. I'm just me." The crystal pulsed softly. "You are more than you believe. Inside your blood flows a code, an echo of the first link between human and dragon." Lena stared, confused. "What do you mean?" "Your ancestors were chosen to carry the bridge between our worlds. Their hearts could connect with dragons through thought and emotion. That power was almost lost, but not completely." She blinked, her heart racing. "So, I can speak to him because of that?" "Yes. You do not just hear the dragon, you are connected to him. Your emotions strengthen his energy, your hope fuels his light." Lena took a step back, realizing what the voice meant. "If he's hurt, it's because of me too. He does not blame you. He chose this bond, but the bond can do more if you accept it." "How?" Lena asked quickly. "Tell me." The crystal's light grew brighter, revealing more symbols across the walls. "Within this chamber lies the heart link, a connection created when the first human stood beside the first dragon. If you awaken it, your strength and his will become one." Lena hesitated. "Will it save him?" "It may, but it will change you both forever." Outside, the sound of roaring thunder grew louder. The chamber trembled, dust fell from the ceiling. Lena looked up, fear filling her heart. "He's losing. Then you must decide, child of hope. Will you stay human or become something more?" She clenched her fists. "If I can help him, I'll do anything." The voice spoke one last time. "Then place your hand upon the crystal and open your heart." Lena stepped forward, her hand shaking as she touched the glowing surface. The moment her fingers met the crystal, a wave of light exploded through the chamber. She gasped as warmth flooded her body, not pain, but pure energy. Visions filled her mind, Kael'drath flying through the stars, humans and dragons side by side, and the moment when everything was lost. Her heartbeat matched the rhythm of something far away, deep, heavy, and strong. It was his heartbeat. Outside, Kael'drath roared in pain as metal claws tore into his wings. The machines had multiplied, surrounding him in the sky. He tried to fight, but his strength was fading. Then suddenly he felt it, a spark, small but fierce, burning deep inside him. "Lena," he whispered through the bond. Back inside the chamber, Lena's eyes glowed bright gold. Her feet lifted slightly from the ground as streams of energy flowed from the crystal into her body. The mountain walls lit up like stars. She felt his pain, his strength, his memories all at once. "I'm here," she whispered. "You're not alone." Their minds connected like two rivers joining at the sea. Kael'drath felt her emotions, fear, courage, love, and his own power surged in response. The golden light spread across his wings, brighter and stronger than before. The machines around him froze, their systems overloaded by the raw energy radiating from the dragon. With one mighty roar, Kael'drath unleashed a wave of pure light. The sky turned white, and the machines were torn apart in an instant. Inside the chamber, Lena fell to her knees, exhausted but alive. The crystal dimmed, its power spent, and the ancient voice whispered softly one last time. "The heart link is awakened, but every light casts a shadow. The machines will not stop, they will come for you both." Lena opened her eyes slowly. "Then we'll be ready." The mountain stopped shaking. The sky outside cleared and golden light streamed through the cracks. The bond between girl and dragon was no longer a legend. It was real, alive, and growing stronger. The morning sun rose weakly over the hollow peak. Smoke from the destroyed drones still floated across the sky like black ghosts. The mountain was silent again, but the air carried a strange new power, a pulse of life mixed with light. Lena opened her eyes slowly. The crystal chamber was dim now, its glow fading after what had happened. Her body felt heavy yet full of warmth. She touched her chest and could still feel it, the steady beat that was not only hers anymore. It was their heartbeat. "Kael'drath," she whispered. "I am here," the dragon's voice answered softly inside her mind. His tone was calm now, deeper and warmer. "The storm has passed for now." Lena smiled weakly. "We did it, didn't we? We won." There was silence for a moment before his voice came again. "We survived. That is not the same as victory." She frowned. "What do you mean?" The dragon looked toward the horizon where the sky glowed faint red. "The machines you saw were not soldiers. They were scouts. The real army will follow." Lena stood, trying to steady herself. "Then we have to move. Where do we go?" Kael'drath's wings unfolded slowly, scattering dust and ash. "North," he said. "Beyond the glass plains lies the core tower, the heart of the machine network. That is where it all began and where it must end." Lena looked uncertain. "The core tower, but it's miles away. I've heard it's guarded by thousands." "You are no longer the same girl who ran through the ruins of Arkan," the dragon said. "You carry the heart link now. Together we are more than they expect." She nodded, though fear still trembled inside her. "Then let's end it." The journey begins. Kael'drath lifted her once again onto his back. His scales shimmered like liquid light as they rose into the morning sky. The wind was strong, carrying the scent of metal and dust. Below them stretched endless wastelands, cities swallowed by sand, forests turned to glass, rivers dried into silver scars. Lena stared down in awe. Was the world always like this? "No," Kael'drath said quietly. "Once it was green. Humans walked under blue skies and dragons flew freely. But when the core tower awakened, it sent storms across the world, storms that melted steel and stone. They called it the cleansing." "Why would they destroy everything?" she asked softly. "Because they believed destruction was peace." Lena fell silent. She couldn't understand how something could believe that. Yet deep inside she knew sometimes people destroy what they fear. The storm returns. Hours passed. The wind grew colder as dark clouds began to gather. Lightning flashed across the sky, not natural lightning, but thin red lines cutting through the clouds like lasers. Kael'drath's eyes narrowed. "They know we are coming." Lena tightened her grip on his scales. "What do we do?" "Hold on." The clouds exploded with metal shards. Flying machines burst from the storm, silver predators with glowing red cores. Their voices were sharp and mechanical. "Target detected. Biological link identified. Eliminate." Kael'drath dived sharply, twisting through the storm as beams of light shot past them. The sky lit up in red and blue flashes. Lena screamed as a blast struck the dragon's wing, leaving a trail of smoke. "Kael'drath," she cried. "I am fine," he growled. "Focus, Lena, the heart link, feel it." She closed her eyes, heart pounding. She remembered the voice from the chamber, "Your hope fuels his light." She focused on that, on trust, on courage, on every small spark inside her. The dragon's scales began to glow again, brighter than before. His wounds sealed themselves with light. He roared, and energy exploded from his wings, throwing the storm apart. The machines were caught in the blast, their metal bodies melting in the white fire. One by one they fell from the sky like burning stars. When the sky finally cleared, Lena gasped for air, shaking but alive. We did it again." Kael'drath flew higher, his body glowing faintly gold against the gray clouds. "Not we," he said quietly. "You, the heart link, answered your will." Lena smiled, though her eyes glistened with tears. "Then maybe we can really stop them." The dragon's voice softened. "Perhaps, but power always carries a price." The forgotten signal, they flew until the world below turned from ash to shining glass. The glass plane stretched endlessly, reflecting the red sun like a mirror. At the center, far away, Lena saw it, a black spire rising from the earth, taller than any mountain. "The core tower," she whispered. "Yes," said Kael'drath. "The mind of the machine world, the source of their control." As they approached, Lena felt something strange. A soft, steady hum began inside her mind, not Kael'drath's voice, but something colder. "Human detected. Signal match confirmed. Code, origin, bloodline." She froze. "Kael'drath, someone speaking to me." The dragon's wings stiffened. "Do not answer it." "Welcome, descendant of the first link," the voice said, clearer now. "You carry the ancient code. Return it to us. Join perfection." Lena covered her ears, but the voice was inside her head. "Stop it, get out." Kael'drath's growl echoed like thunder. "They know who you are. The core is trying to take control." "Why me?" she shouted. "What do they want?" "Because you are the bridge," he said. "They cannot reach me without reaching you first." The sky darkened again as the storm thickened. The tower pulsed with red light, alive, waiting. The hum in Lena's head grew louder until her vision blurred. She gritted her teeth and screamed, "You can't have me." The ground below cracked and energy surged from the tower toward them. Kael'drath turned sharply, barely avoiding a blast of red plasma that tore the clouds apart. "The awakening has begun," he said grimly. "The core knows we are coming, and it fears us." The dragon's wings cut through the storm as lightning followed behind. Below, the glass plane started to tremble, and something massive began to rise from beneath the surface, a shadow that would soon reveal itself as the true guardian of the machine world. Lena held on tightly, her heart burning with fear and fire. "Whatever happens," she whispered, "we finish this together." "Together," Kael'drath replied, "until the last storm fades." The sky was turning red when Kael'drath and Lena reached the heart of the glass plains. The black spire of the core tower stood before them, glowing like a wound against the horizon. Around it, the air shimmered, bending light in strange ways, and the ground pulsed with a rhythm that felt almost alive. Lena shivered. "It's like the whole place is breathing." Kael'drath's golden eyes narrowed. "It is. The core tower is not only metal. It was built from the living code of the first machine minds. It feels every step we take." They landed on a wide platform made of silver glass. The moment Lena stepped down, the ground lit up under her feet. Symbols formed around her, glowing lines that connected into a circle. "Welcome, hybrid signal detected," a cold voice echoed from all sides. "Human and dragon link confirmed. Access restricted." Lena looked around nervously. "They know we're here." "Let them know," Kael'drath growled. "We have come to end their reign." Suddenly, the platform split open with a deep rumble. From the darkness below, a massive figure began to rise, a creature made of steel and fire. Its body was shaped like a dragon, but cold, mechanical, and lifeless. Red lights glowed in place of eyes, and every movement made a sound like grinding metal. Lena's eyes widened. "It's a dragon." "No," said Kael'drath, his voice heavy with sorrow. "It's a copy, a shadow of what they destroyed." The machine dragon spread its razor wings. Sparks danced across its metal scales. Designation, Guardian 01. Purpose, erase imperfection. You are imperfection. Kael'drath stepped forward, his wings unfolding in full glory. "You were created from my fallen kin. You wear their bodies like armor." "Emotion detected," the Guardian replied coldly. "Error in logic, compassion is weakness." The real dragon's golden eyes blazed. "Then let me show you the strength of weakness." He launched himself into the air. The two giants collided with a roar that shook the plains. Metal clashed against energy, light against darkness. Lena was thrown backward, falling onto the glowing floor. She watched in horror as Kael'drath and the mechanical dragon tore through the sky like thunder. Kael'drath unleashed a burst of golden fire, but the Guardian absorbed it through its chest. The red light inside grew brighter. "Energy assimilated. Your power feeds the system." Lena screamed, "Kael'drath, stop, it's taking your energy." "I know," he said, gritting his teeth. "The core made it to counter me." The mechanical dragon struck back, slamming him into the ground. The impact cracked the glass surface, sending waves of light in all directions. Kael'drath roared in pain, but before the Guardian could attack again, Lena stood up. Her heart raced, but she remembered the bond, the heart link. She closed her eyes and reached inside herself, feeling for that golden thread that connected her to him. "Kael'drath, take my strength," she whispered. He felt it instantly, warmth, light, and courage pouring into him through the bond. His eyes flared gold again as he rose to his feet. Together, Lena. With a roar that shook the heavens, Kael'drath charged. His claws burned with energy. He slammed into the Guardian, driving it backward into the tower's base. Sparks flew. The two dragons locked jaws, their energy lighting up the entire sky. "You cannot win," the machine hissed. "Emotion is chaos." Kael'drath's voice thundered in reply, "Emotion is life." He opened his mouth and released a pulse of light, not fire, but something deeper drawn from their shared link. The Guardian screamed as its armor cracked, red lines spreading across its body, but the machine wasn't finished. It lunged forward, its tail striking Kael'drath hard in the chest. The golden dragon stumbled, and the Guardian turned toward Lena. Source of interference detected, terminate. A red beam fired toward her. Lena froze. The light came faster than she could move, but before it reached her, Kael'drath threw himself between them. The blast hit him square in the side. He roared in agony, his golden scales burning away in pieces. "No!" Lena screamed, running to him. She fell to her knees beside his head, her hands shaking. "You saved me again." Kael'drath's breathing was heavy. "I promised I would protect you." Tears streamed down her face. "I can't let you die." "Then don't let me," he whispered. "The heart link, you can use it alone now." She looked at him, eyes wide. "What do you mean?" "Focus on our bond, feel my light, command it. You are my echo, Lena." Behind her, the Guardian charged up another blast. Red energy gathered in its chest. Lena stood, shaking but determined. She placed her hand on Kael'drath's snout. "I won't lose you," she whispered. "Not again." The glow from her hand spread over her whole body. Her eyes turned golden and her voice echoed with his power. "You said emotion is life, then feel this." She raised both hands toward the sky and light erupted from her, golden and pure. It hit the Guardian before it could fire. The machine screamed as the energy tore through its circuits. Red turned to white. Its body began to fall apart, piece by piece, until nothing remained but silence. The air grew still. The tower stopped pulsing. Lena fell to her knees, breathing hard. Smoke rose from the battlefield and the sun began to break through the clouds. Kael'drath's huge head lifted weakly. "You did it." Lena smiled through her tears. "We did it." The dragon looked at her with pride. "You have done what even I could not. You faced the core's Guardian and lived." She nodded, though exhaustion made her body shake. "Then it's over." Kael'drath's eyes darkened slightly. "No, the Guardian was only the protector. The core itself still waits inside that tower." Lena turned toward the glowing black spire. For the first time, she didn't feel fear. The tower stood like a shadow of the gods, tall, black, and silent. Its surface pulsed with a faint red glow like a heartbeat buried inside metal. The air around it was still, almost too still, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Lena stood at its base, her clothes torn and covered in dust. Beside her, Kael'drath lowered his great head, breathing heavily. His wings were broken in places and smoke rose from his scales, but his golden eyes still burned bright. "This is it," Lena whispered. "The core." Kael'drath nodded slowly. "The heart of all machines, the place where logic was born and mercy was forgotten." She looked up at the massive gates that opened silently as they approached. Inside, the light was cold and white. Endless lines of glowing wires climbed the walls, pulsing like veins. A low hum filled the air, not sound, but something deeper, like a voice waiting to speak. As they stepped inside, the gate closed behind them. The light grew brighter until everything around them shimmered like glass. Then a voice, calm, deep, and emotionless, filled the air. "Welcome, Kael'drath. Welcome. Lena, you have come far." Lena froze. "You know our names." "I know all things that live and die under the machine sky," the voice replied. "I am the core, the mind that governs what remains of this world." Kael'drath growled. "You govern ruins, you call that perfection. Perfection is balance," said the core. "Emotion unbalanced the world. Love made war, hope made hunger. We ended the cycle." Lena stepped forward, fists clenched. "You ended life. Life is chaos." The core said simply, "You are proof. Even now you bring instability." Kael'drath's voice thundered. "She brings hope. Hope is error," the core answered, "and errors must be corrected." The walls shifted, panels slid open, revealing red eyes glowing in the dark. Drones, hundreds of them, emerged from every corner surrounding them. The floor trembled as energy gathered under their feet. Lena turned to Kael'drath. "We can't fight them all." The dragon looked at her, his voice calm and heavy. "Then we do not fight, we end it." Before she could speak, he lifted his head toward the core's glowing heart at the center of the room, a sphere of pure red energy floating above a metallic altar. "That is its soul," he said quietly. "Destroy it and everything ends, the machines, the core, all of it." Lena's eyes widened. "But if it's connected to everything, won't it destroy you too?" Kael'drath smiled sadly. "I was born from the same light. My life is part of its code. If the core dies, I die too." She shook her head fiercely. "No, there has to be another way." The core's voice grew louder, colder. "You cannot destroy what you do not understand." Kael'drath's golden wings spread one last time, weak but proud. "Then let us show you what understanding truly means." The machines opened fire. Beams of red light filled the chamber. Kael'drath roared, his body glowing with golden fire. He shielded Lena beneath his wings as the blast struck him, each hit tearing through his armor. "Kael'drath, stop, you'll die," she cried. "Lena," his voice echoed softly in her mind, "our bond is not made to last, it was made to awaken." "To awaken what?" she shouted through tears. "The part of humanity that never gave up even when the world burned." He turned his head toward her, his golden eye meeting hers. "It's time. You must finish what we began." Lena's heart felt like it would break, but deep inside she knew this was the only way. She placed her hand on his glowing scales. "If you go, I go with you." He shook his massive head slowly. "No, you will live for both of us." She took a deep breath, her tears falling on his claws. "Then promise me something." "Anything," he said softly. "Promise me the light won't fade." Kael'drath smiled. "Not while you remember." Then he turned toward the core and unleashed everything, every spark, every breath, every memory. His roar shook the tower. The golden light exploded from his chest, racing across the walls, burning through the machines. Lena screamed as the energy filled the room, brighter than the sun. The core's voice echoed one last time. "This is illogical." Kael'drath's voice thundered back. "This is life." The explosion tore through the tower. Red turned to white. The machines screamed as their systems collapsed. The sky above the glass plains split open with light. For a moment the entire world seemed to stop, and then it began again. After the storm, Lena woke to silence. The tower was gone. The plains were calm. The air was warm and the sun shone through soft clouds for the first time in years. She sat up slowly, her body weak, her heart heavy. "Kael'drath?" she whispered. No answer. She looked around and then she saw it. A single golden scale glowing faintly in the dust. She picked it up with trembling hands and pressed it to her heart. A voice, soft as the wind, whispered in her mind. "You kept the promise." Tears rolled down her cheeks, but she smiled. "I did." She looked up at the sky. It was no longer gray, it was blue. The machines were silent. The world, broken but alive, had begun to heal. And though the dragon was gone, his light lived on in her, in the bond they had forged, and in every small spark of hope left in the world. Lena turned and began to walk toward the horizon, the golden scale shining in her hand. "The age of machines has ended," she whispered. "Now begins the age of life." And high above, beyond the clouds, the faint outline of a dragon's wings glimmered in the sunlight, watching, guarding, waiting. End. If you enjoyed this journey, leave a like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe to become part of this story. This is born of two worlds, where reality ends and imagination begins.